The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Henry, you're such a moron. It's unbelievable, bro. Stop acting like a low IQ moron, bro.
Always has. Like, I just gotta go and I'm just gonna go and release some stuff off my mind just because I got so many technical issues and audio issues and disrespecting me, disrespecting my Mrs. Assassin, Lil Assassin.
Disrespected you, bro. What? You cheated on your wife, bro. It's the dude. This is exactly it. It's the reactivation of Dr. Disrespect's fan base, and it's happened again now. This is part of the war on normal, guys. Okay, that's why everyone's so upset with this dude. He's literally just a regular guy. There's been a little bit of beef between Nickmercs and Dr. Disrespect. And also, I wanted to use it as an opportunity to point out how fucking retarded Dr. Disrespect fans are. Because despite all the saber-rattling and bloviating at the time, it doesn't actually seem like Dr. Disrespect has filed any sort of legal action against the people that called him out, despite him acting like he was going to at the time. So, what happened? Well, a little while ago, Dr. Disrespect was heavily criticised online after admitting to inappropriately messaging a minor whilst he was at Twitch. And this was apparently the reason that he was let go from Twitch, because this was discovered by Twitch as part of the kind of investigations they were doing at the time, as some allegations of misconduct across the board were coming out, right? But it all started here. So Cody Connors tweeted out something which seemed quite vague, but which had just enough information to let people put the pieces together, you know? So this was the tweet that started it all. June. Wow. Damn. Crazy. June 2024. Oh my god, dude. Not even that long ago. That's mental. He got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang. And within a short period of time, people pieced together that this was about Dr. Disrespect. And initially, Dr. Disrespect had like a couple of cope tweets, but didn't really meaningfully address this and just said, oh, it's kind of been resolved. It's been rectified, right? Now, there's obviously lots of like responses, reactions and stuff you could talk about. But the thing that's important for the purposes of today's drama is Nickmercs' response. Because despite all of the pressure to do so, there's a few people who didn't really want to come to a strong conclusion until there was like definitive evidence or something out there that showed more conclusively that Dr. Disrespect had done what he was accused of, right? So there were obviously people that immediately concluded, well, Dr. Disrespect definitely did this without question. But some people were like, well, hang on a sec, let's wait for more evidence. And one of those people was Nickmercs, who said the following when this first came out.
Yo, checking in. Look, I opened Twitter. Bunch of my mentions are he, they, she, hey, they. Fucking, I identify as a helicopter. God damn it. And I seen the couple tweets about the doc. I'm as taken back as a lot of you guys are, okay? But the fact remains that these are some crazy accusations. Crazy. Big time accusations. And until we know more, until we know them as fact, until they've been proven with evidence, what are we talking about? What's anybody talking about? As far as the leave the little kids alone stuff, this doesn't make it any further from the truth. Leave little children out of your shit. Have a nice day. Yo.
So, this was like about as good a response initially as you could hope for. So, he was willing to listen to more information as it came out. Okay. But he didn't like definitively conclude anything. He just said, let's wait for more info. He wasn't like defensive necessarily. It was literally just hey, let's wait for more information before we decide. Which is a totally reasonable position at the time. But obviously for a lot of people, that wasn't enough because you have to immediately conclude, in spite of there being no evidence of any wrongdoing existing, someone just saying it happened. So very frustrating. Also for Nickmercs in particular, there was another dynamic to this as well, where essentially he had been giving criticisms of like the LGBT movement. And that was a product of them going after kids from his perspective. A perspective which I'm inclined to, you know, to agree with, I'd say. I think there is definitely aspects of their online culture, particularly the egg cracking and stuff like that, the HRT for minors. So there's a lot of trans people, a lot of LGBT types, a lot of progressive types who are like, oh, you think it's bad? You think it's bad to convince children to transition and feed them DIY HRT, but you're not willing to call out your friend on the basis of no evidence? So anyway, that was another angle to this as well. A lot of LGBT people were using it as an opportunity to attack Nickmercs, you know, for that. Because it was like a kind of hypocrisy point that they were trying to make, right? So anyway, that was that, and everyone was kind of waiting to see what happened next. And then we have got, of course, the tweet. The admission. So, Dr. Disrespect tweeted this out, which was an admission of guilt, essentially. So he said, the Twitch ban, hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologise to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society. Okay, so the Midnight Society stuff isn't really relevant here, but you can read that if you want to. Okay? And then it goes on. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Right. Okay, so that does it, right? He's admitted to having done it. That seems to be the end of it, surely. That seems to clear that up quite nicely. Now, obviously, there are questions about it. Like, what are those messages involved? What does that look like exactly? And the only thing that we've really got to go off is friend of the channel, controversial lefty journalist and friend of the channel, Stephen Asarch, wrote articles about this. And he spoke to individuals at Twitch. And obviously this is from like a Twitch person, so take it with a pinch of salt if you want. But the idea was that he'd been having a conversation of a flirtatious nature, and the person had revealed that they were a minor. And the conversation continued and ramped up. So that's the claim from the Twitch employee, essentially, is this idea that, you know, he'd had a conversation, they'd mentioned they were a minor, which normally you would expect to kind of stop that sort of conversation happening. In this case, it didn't, and it continued and it ramped up. But obviously, some people don't believe that. That's fine. We don't have any hard proof one way or another of exactly what the conversation was. But what we do have is an admission from Dr. Disrespect saying that he did message the minor. Now, my perspective on this is that Dr. Disrespect admitted this here because I believe, my personal belief is he didn't know at the time. He didn't know what was going to come out, and he was concerned that something was going to be released, and he thought he'd get ahead of it. Okay? And then as we go on, you'll see he tries to retract this, which we'll get to. But the long story short is I think he thought nothing was going to come out, nothing was going to be revealed. Sorry, he didn't know what was going to come out, he didn't know what was going to be revealed, so he thought he would get ahead of it, right? And then as history shows us, nothing ended up coming out about this, nothing was released, nothing was shown, and that was that. But anyway, at the time, he made an admission that yes, he'd messaged this minor, right? And he goes on. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. So again, this is very typical of someone that has done a kind of morally or ethically questionable or egregious act, is to hide behind the fact that there's no legal aspect to it, right? And it's like, well, sure, but not everything that doesn't end up with a criminal case isn't bad or wrong in some way. It's just, for whatever reason, this didn't meet that criteria, you know? Yeah, that's so true as well. Yeah, having no real intentions are words often spoken on to catch a predator. Yes, exactly. And also, this cope that I'm seeing, also probably didn't know he's texting a minor, one could add. I think this is just cope, because if he'd have been able to say, well, this is contested by the people that what Twitch have said, and also, why wouldn't he say it here? Why wouldn't he say, I didn't realise they were a minor? That would be a good defence for him. But he doesn't. And I think he's trying to give away as little as possible whilst admitting, because he wants to get ahead of it, but he doesn't know what's going to come out. Right? Another thing to note about this is this word here, minor, he put it in the document, he put it in the tweet, he then removed it, he edited it and removed it, and then he edited it and put it back in. Now, one could question, why would you do that? That seems like a bizarre behaviour to do. But don't worry, Dr. Disrespect has got an explanation, which we're going to take a quick look at in a sec, okay? But nonetheless, this was seen as an admission, and even like an apology here. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I fucking own my shit. This was stupid. You're going... No. Dude, I'm not going over every aspect of this story. I'm just literally covering the basic points because it's important to this new Dr. Disrespect stuff that's happened. And plus, it's fun to have a bit of a retrospective. This is a big drama, and it's very fun to cover at the time. But no, I'm not going to go over every aspect of it. We're just going through the main points. Now, although that said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no fucking predator or pedophile. Are you fucking kidding me? Anyone who truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on those things with those types of people. Fuck that. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. So anyway, that's the main gist of his statement. You can obviously read the rest of it if you so desire. It's there on the screen. But yeah. So at the time, I think many people saw this as an admission of guilt and therefore acted accordingly. So criticised, etc. And of course, Nickmercs did this.
Yo, checking in. I'm seeing everything on Twitter, and I read through Doc's tweet, and in that very tweet, he basically confirms that, you know, he was texting an underage girl, and it went weird sometimes, you know, and look, just to be blunt and straightforward, man, that's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right? There's no excuse for something like that, and I can't support it. Hang on, honey. Doing this, I'm talking to Twitter. I can't support it. I can't defend it. And look, the boys and I are torn up over it too, man, because we played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird, but what can you do, you know? So I just wanted to update you guys on my thoughts and how I'm feeling. And I mean, look, I hope you guys have a good day, all right?
Okay. So literally, what is wrong with what Nickmercs did here? Nickmercs said, wait for more evidence. He was willing to stand by Dr. Disrespect in the absence of evidence confirming that he'd done anything wrong. And then when Dr. Disrespect himself admitted to it, Nickmercs goes, okay, well, that's beyond the line for me. That's unacceptable behaviour. So, you know, I'm upset about it. We've obviously hung out together playing games, etc. But I can't stand by that. Totally rational, totally fair. I think, you know, inarguably, for many, even people that don't like Nickmercs, I think you'd have to agree this is a very class act from Nickmercs' part. Waited for evidence, when he admitted, cut ties. Totally reasonable moves being made here, right? And also, Nickmercs goes on to talk about this as well. But it's the fact that people are so focused on Nickmercs' reaction, like Dr. Disrespect fans. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. Dr. Disrespect put Nickmercs in an impossible position in terms of, you know, what he's supposed to look at that. He's supposed to look at Dr. Disrespect saying that he'd messaged a minor and go, yeah, well, that's fine. I can still stand by him regardless. You know, Nickmercs' position on this stuff is pretty clear, right? And he's got a consistent take on this in regards to interactions between adults and minors. So what is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do? And also, there's some other stuff that happened. He reached out to Nickmercs, said, don't defend me. I can't remember that exactly. He may have done. I'm pretty sure they had some behind-the-scenes communications. But in any case, you know, Nickmercs spoke about it more and elaborated on his take further. Yeah, I mean, it's all available if you want to watch the whole lot of it. But that's the kind of the bare bones of what happened, right? So the basic point is Dr. Disrespect had this allegation about him drop. Nickmercs said, wait for more evidence. Dr. Disrespect admitted to it. Nickmercs then said, right, I'm cutting ties. Okay? Now, further to that, later on, Dr. Disrespect, realizing, I think personally, this is my perspective, realizing that nothing had or probably would come out about this, and the DMs weren't going to come out, and there wasn't going to be hard evidence one way or another of what exactly the conversation was, okay? He did a live stream, which I'm sure you'll remember, an immortal live stream, and we're going to just take a small chunk out of that, which talks about the allegations, okay? So this is what he had to say about the allegations. And when was this? This was on 6th of September. So this was a few months later. This is what he said about the allegations.
And again, champs, again, I respected all the confidential obligations. But apparently Twitch's own disgruntled employees didn't feel the need to abide by those same obligations. Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved, leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later, Cody, why do this? What was the point? This was settled professionally. And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020. I mean, for what? Cody? Why? Did you not?
Because it's a matter of public interest, right? Like it's a matter of public interest as to why one of the biggest streamers on Twitch got banned. And although, you know, I definitely think Cody Connors went about it in a terrible way. Like he was teasing it and being like, come to my band show and I'll tell you why Dr. Disrespect got banned. There's definitely criticism due for Cody Connors in terms of how he handled it all. You know, I think it coming out is, you know, probably a good thing, particularly when the identity of the person he spoke to, I'm pretty sure to this day, is anonymous and we don't know who that is. But yeah, of course, it's a matter of interest to talk about why a massive streamer got banned from the platform. Yeah, Cody didn't really care about this. Cody wanted, yeah, and people act like Cody, dude, who was it? Was it Slasher or someone? I think Slasher, obviously, we don't need to get into the Slasher stuff exactly, but Slasher was going on about what a great guy Cody was and stuff, and it's like, bro, he was a fucking loser who was teasing it to fucking sell his show. But nonetheless, you know, it was out there, so that was that.
Not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time? Did you not know the repercussions of accusing me Cody Connors? You see, you don't know shit, and it was obvious from your tweet. You didn't have any firsthand knowledge of my dispute with Twitch. You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do. And yeah, I used Twitch as Whispers, but trust me, I wasn't sexting anyone. You also said the word minor, Cody.
So yeah, obviously there is no legal definition of sexting, I'm pretty sure. I think there's maybe one statute in one state, I think, where it mentions it or something. But anyway, it's not something that's like a legal term, right? It's all to do with the level of interaction. And the thing is, Dr. Disrespect doesn't have to have done anything that is classified as illegal for people to take issue with what he did. And more importantly, for the purposes of this segment, Dr. Disrespect, okay, does not have to have done anything illegal for a friend to cut ties on him admitting to wrongdoing. It doesn't matter. It's literally fucking irrelevant. If someone says they've done something and another person thinks, I'm not a fan of that behavior, I don't like that behavior, I'm going to no longer associate with that person, that's totally fucking reasonable. Like, what is the fucking problem here exactly? What is the issue here? There's literally nothing wrong with doing that, bro. Like, what? You've got to stand by someone, even if they do something you don't like or agree with. What? Thank you for the super chats. I think people can make a big noise about it and make a big, like, moral frog situation about it where they're like, I cannot possibly, oh my goodness, you know. They could do like a, what is it? Dude, there was something specific I was thinking of with that. But anyway, they could do a thing where the guy going to kick. Like when fucking Tubbo, what was it? Tubbo was complaining, I think, because Sapnap went to kick or something like that, and he was turning it into this big thing on his stream. That can potentially be annoying. And I think Nickmercs has got grounds to make a bigger deal about this and to make a bigger stink about it and to make a big noise about it, about what a terrible person Dr. Disrespect is. Because he's admitted to doing something that he obviously finds so wrong. But he didn't. He was a class act about it, and he said, I can't stand by that. He spoke about it a bit on stream, and that was it. He moved forward, and that was more or less the end of it, you know? So, you know, it's just so bizarre to act like the only thing that could possibly mean you cut ties with someone is if they've done something illegal. They could just do something that you think is morally questionable, or outrageous, or bad, or whatever, you know?
Money off depressed people.
Resting Brandon Face became a member. Resting Brandon Face celebrates 3 months of membership. My friend Merriam-Webster says you're wrong about me being a child predator. Actually.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the membership, Resting Brandon Face. Appreciate it. Great PR move. Yes, if you're an dude, bro, what is the dude? These kind of takes are so dumb. You must chain yourself to someone that is extremely controversial that admits to doing something that is morally outrageous. No, you don't. Why? What? Oh, no, I couldn't possibly cut ties. I'd just be doing it for PR. Just doing it for PR is fine if the action is egregious enough, right? I agree if it's some little shitter thing that doesn't really mean anything, like saying the N-word, right? Who cares?
Chud and chat, pay attention to this doc's wig and moustache compared to the latest crash out vid. His new wig looks like roadkill and fake glue mustache.
Thank you for the super chats. But, you know, the thing is, as you know, dependent on the act, I mean, I think generally speaking, you're allowed to cut ties for whatever reason you want. You could be judged accordingly if it isn't that egregious, or you maybe make a big meal out of it than it needs to be, maybe. But on a fundamental level, you're allowed to do that. Like, what is this idea that you must continue to be connected with someone who you don't agree with what they've done, number one, and number two, it's extremely negative for your brand to do so.
I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs.
Right. So this is kind of a sideline to the Nickmercs stuff, but just this concept, and he goes on to say it more clearly in a sec. If you put something in a statement and the journalists say, Dr. Disrespect has said that thing, then there's literally nothing that you can do about that because you have said the thing and they're reporting on you saying it. It's just the biggest and most insane cope that he did it because he wanted to trick journalists. And it wasn't obviously because he was presumably freaking out about the reaction and didn't know exactly what to do and fucked up and took it out and put it back in. Now he's trying to act like it was some pre-planned strategy to trick journalists. To do what exactly? To do what? What exactly is it you're hoping to achieve by tricking journalists, by erroneously admitting to messaging a minor, apparently? Dude, it's completely absurd nonsense and it doesn't make any fucking sense.
When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? You didn't. Neither did any of these journalists, and neither did Twitch at the time of the ban.
Legal age of consent where? Exactly. What country? What state? What? Where? Dude, that could be a multitude of ages.
You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon, but you're wrong. Let's set the record straight. I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met in person ever. Your bullshit accusations gave false courage to other former Twitch employees to make shit up as well. I suspect all of you sort of planned and coordinated this attack. These big-time publications, these journalists, these various outlets are sort of just gossip channels now. Don't you think, champs? They act like they're just gossip channels now, without any real journalism and real research happening.
Bro, what research do you need? Dr. Disrespect admitted to doing this. Here's the tweet. Here's the tweet where he admits it. It's just so obvious this guy was lashing out, desperately trying to spin a narrative that his audience would latch onto. Who else does that remind you of? Desperately spinning a narrative despite the fact that he's admitted guilt so that his audience will continue to watch him.
They reported on all this based on leaks from two former Twitch employees, one of whom was supposedly on the trust and safety team. If these anonymous sources worked on the trust and safety team at the time of my Twitch suspension in 2020, then you would hope they would tell the truth. But apparently that's just too much to ask. If these former trust and safety team members, and by the way, I know exactly who they are, actually had firsthand knowledge, then what they conveniently left out is, 1, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting. And 2, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM. I'll say it again. Neither I nor the Twitch user exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images. Cody.
Inappropriate means sexual. There's as much chance it was racist or transphobic or threatening. Okay. So this is where you have to completely reject basic understanding of how humans work for us to believe this sort of narrative, right? It is absolutely insane to act like he was being transphobic. Based on the tone of his own statement, it's very clear that inappropriate, okay, meant some sort of flirtatious-esque messages. Now, it's true that we don't know what the exact nature of those messages are.
Okay, that's wonderful.
And Dr.
But how do I
Disrespect
make
played on
money
that throughout
off depressed
this.
people?
What a vitriolic sped. His mental gymnastics are something else.
Thank you for the super chat. So he played on it when initially he gave the statement because he wasn't particularly specific. He just admitted to some sort of like vague wrongdoing, but it did involve messaging a minor. And then when nothing came out, he twisted round and tried to make out like, actually, that was all a pre-planned move of me admitting to that and nothing wrong had actually happened. Why didn't he say this at the time? Why didn't he say this at the time when this dropped, all of this shit that he's saying now? Because what he was worried about is he overextended and said a bunch of shit, then the messages come out and it makes him look terrible and it makes him look like dishonest. It makes him look like a liar. But now he recognizes they haven't come out and they probably won't. Then he's able to just spin whatever fucking narrative he wants.
Connors and these other anonymous sources are trying to paint a picture that I was exchanging sexually explicit messages and photos with this Twitch user. That never happened. I even used the word inappropriate purposely. And look at how it was defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but
there it is.
Mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken
defaming articles
out of context
defaming
should have never
articles.
led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place. I mean, how would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken?
That's the main thrust of what I wanted to look at there, right? Defaming articles. So this comment, okay, was then taken on by his fan base, even though he never explicitly said he was going to do anything, okay? His fans took this on and started spinning this narrative that he was going to start firing off defamation suits against these journalists. And as of today, the 27th of February, 2025, months after the fact, who can tell me how many defamation suits Dr. Disrespect has filed? The answer, of course, is 0. Not a single defamation suit has been filed by Dr. Disrespect. Now, obviously, maybe there's something out there that I'm not aware of. Maybe it's passed people by. But I'd be very surprised if there's a suit that has just passed people by and isn't known about, right? So this is clearly him trying to spin a narrative. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Henry, you're such a fucking moron. It's unbelievable, bro. Stop acting like a fucking low IQ moron, bro. What do you mean the juice ain't worth the squeeze, bro? It's not to do with that at all. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. This is reported by the mainstream press, you fucking cretin, okay? If Dr. Disrespect took a mainstream press organization to court for defamation, the squeeze would be fucking tremendous, okay? We're talking about a mainstream press outlet, right? Who is that guy that got the Covington Kid? The Covington Kid took mainstream press outlets to court and got, to this day, undisclosed, I believe, $1 million payout, possibly multi-million, okay? These mainstream outlets, if you can get them on something, right? If you can get them on something, no mainstream press outlet called him a pedo. Exactly. That's my point. That's the point that I'm making. He is presenting a false narrative. He is acting like these articles are defamatory when they're not, because they reported on the words that he himself said. Okay? And he's trying to present the narrative like he's got something he can do about this when there isn't. So he's saying that he put the minor thing in and out to trick journalists to report on it, to make them do defamatory articles. That is what he is not explicitly stating, but the logic that he's presenting leads up to that. And his fans push this narrative forward. I'm not going to apologize to Henry. I love Henry, okay? He just angered me there. I had a moment of rage. Okay? I had a moment of rage. We love Henry. This is a pro-Henry channel, but he just irritated me there. The thing that annoyed me is the juice ain't worth the squeeze, because that's total cope. Because, listen to what he says. He talks about journalist outlets.
I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place. I mean, how would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages,
Shit, we're going back.
chats...
No, far enough. Wait.
I even used the word inappropriate purposely. And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate...
So he refers to defaming articles, okay? So what articles is he referring to exactly? Because he hasn't filed a single lawsuit against any journalistic outlet since this happened, as of the 27th of February, 2025. So it's clearly a bullshit narrative that he is trying to perpetuate amongst his audience, so they go forth and state it, okay, and say, well, he was defamed. Just you wait, guys. He's going to file a bunch of suits. Just you wait, guys. He's going to file a bunch of suits against all of these outlets, and he's going to prove how wrong everyone was.
Okay, that's
never happened.
But how
Literally
do I
never
make
happened.
money off depressed people?
Vitaly DrDisrespect collab.
Thank you for the super chats. And then, of course, time moves on. People forget. People forget about it. No one cares anymore, and that's it. But Henry did say, to be fair, I will say, he did say that he messed himself up with this statement. So that's true. I agree with that. But this narrative of the juice ain't worth the squeeze, this is exactly the kind of thing that a Dr. Disrespect fan, not saying you are, but this is exactly the kind of narrative that Dr. Disrespect fans latch onto to try and explain away the fact that he was clearly gesturing towards this, strongly enough that his audience picked this up, and then nothing ever came of it. He didn't file any lawsuits as of today, 27th of February 2025, and it just kind of was forgotten about, you know? So, in any case, it's very obvious that he tried to twist back on the admission that he'd made with an absolutely absurd explanation that he'd put this minor thing in to try and trick journalists to what? Report on the words that you yourself had said. Absolutely fucking retarded, okay? So anyway, stop trying to stoke drama. Stop trying to stoke drama. Me and Henry are friends, okay? Listen, if he's got a problem, he can reach out and we can talk about it, okay? I'm sure Henry is fine with me spurging out about him, okay? Stop trying to be fucking ghetto. You're going to take that. Guys, we're friends, okay? Listen, it's banter. Some might say my comments towards Henry were inappropriate. However, what you don't realise, it was just banter, okay? Chud is a leech. Yeah, what I do, I'm going to be watching your next video on stream anyway. Don't worry about it. I'll be leeching off you next time as well, okay? I'll be waiting for it. I'll be waiting for it. Bro, when I get my legal case, Henry's going to absolutely fuck me, isn't he? He's going to say that I deserve to get absolutely creamed in court. I feel bad now. I feel bad now. You're making me feel bad. Guys, this is what happens here. I get angry at someone, okay? It's fine. You don't seem to mind when it happens towards a woman, but when it's towards a man, all of a sudden you care. Anyway, go on. Divorce dad fight. Okay, bro. Anyway, hope you well, Henry. Hope you well. You did be fair to Henry. He did say that if the statement was bad, so that's fine. I will not apologise. I'm not going to be fucking apologising, okay? I will not be apologising at any point. I will say, Henry resilient, Henry resilient, Henry resilient. Anyway, dude, I've shouted at people all the time that, dude, okay, come on. Let's just move on. Let's just move on, okay? Let's move on. Anyway, so the basic point and the reason I'm explaining this, okay, is because essentially Dr. Disrespect has crafted this narrative that he was playing 5D chess and that he was actually outsmarting the journalists and he was actually winning. And he was actually winning this PR war when he'd lost unreservedly. But his absolutely fucking moronic fans, his retarded fans, push forward this idea that he did it to trick them. And on top of that as well, he was going to file these suits against journalists, which never happened. Right? Now, a side effect of this was that people started giving Nickmercs shit, right? And the basis for this was absolutely fucking ridiculous. So the basis for the criticism that Nickmercs got is that Nickmercs didn't stand by Dr. Disrespect throughout all of this. And I'm just like, well, what exactly are you hoping for here? If Dr. Disrespect did genuinely have this master plan, which is obviously fucking dumb. If he genuinely had this master plan, okay, Why
Okay,
wouldn't he
that's
tell them
wonderful.
about
But
it?
how do I make money off depressed people?
Doc's Big Brian baiting with that original tweet was bad. He should have talked to his boys and told them. Nick is not wrong. Firm handshakes for all.
Firm handshakes, Henry. Thank you for the $5. Oh, we hit the goal as well, did we? Wow, incredible. Incredible. Okay, dude. I'm not apologizing, dude. I'm not the kind of guy that apologizes, okay? Apologies are worthless. Listen, if Henry's... Listen, okay? We're moving on, okay? Listen, I love you, Henry. I love you, okay? Henry won. Chud L, Henry W, okay?
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Thank you for the $2. I guess the juice wasn't worth the squeeze on that Henry rant. No, it wasn't. You're right, exactly. I made a terrible error of judgment, okay? It's the Finny Rage, okay? It's the Finny Rage. Anyway, the basic point here is that there was this absurd idea that what Nickmercs should have done is not decide to cease continuing their relationship off the back of Dr. Disrespect admitting to something which Nickmercs clearly finds objectionable. And he actually should have stood by him for months, bear in mind, because this happened in June 2024, and this statement wasn't until September. So the idea was that for a period of months, Nickmercs should have stood by Dr. Disrespect as he'd admitted to fault and disappeared, and his reputation was pile-driven into the ground, only for him to come up with this half-cocked story, and for Nickmercs to, like, what? Be like, oh yeah, well, this completely absurd, nonsensical story is true, actually. Like, it's so clear that it's nonsense, and there was absolutely no good argument as to why Nickmercs should have stood by him. And at the time, when this occurred, Nickmercs got some shit, and Nickmercs responded, and, you know, said he admitted to it, like, what do you want from me? Totally reasonable, totally fair, okay? Now, that brings us up to the current situation, and some new drama that has developed, okay? So, Dr. Disrespect, in what I think is a particularly, like, egregious move. Like, I feel like Dr. Disrespect has been a real fucking shitter here. He's decided to reinvigorate and restoke this drama by talking further shit about Nickmercs. And hopefully, in this little summary I've shown you, that Nickmercs throughout this has been a class act. He waited for more evidence. More evidence came out of his admission. He decided to cut ties and has consistently remained on that position. He hasn't bought this bullshit excuse, which I think is totally reasonable. And he's pushed back against people that have said he acted unreasonably. Okay? And now, Dr. Disrespect, I think, is feeling a bit confident because obviously he's continued his career. He's got remonetized on YouTube. And now, he saw fit to take shots at Nickmercs again, which we're going to have a look at here. So here we go.
I think anybody that like talks about anybody else so like passionately and with so much thought about someone else, I think they're the biggest pussies. I really do. I think Nickmercs is the biggest fucking pussy in the world. Lupo, obviously, he's a fake. Let's go ahead and...
Okay, so this is like complete narrative manipulation here, right? So, I mean, I think this is an absurd concept in and of itself, but putting that to one side, what did Nickmercs do? Like, all Nickmercs did was go with the evidence as it went along and cut ties when he felt it was appropriate to do so, based on Dr. Disrespect's own admission. What the fuck did Nickmercs do wrong exactly? Nickmercs spoke about it a few times to make his thoughts clear in a very considered way. You know? This is fucking bizarre. What are you on about, dude? He didn't do anything wrong. He literally just said, I can't stand by this. That's it. I'm done.
Say it. Never didn't talk about it before, but I'm in the mood now to talk about it. I think these fucking people are the phoniest people in the industry, man. You know what I mean, champs? I won't talk about it anymore, but I just had to say that. I did, and I know you guys know, but God, I had to say it. Biggest fucking phonies. I can call out all these people. I don't want to though, man. I'm just in like a bad mood. But at the same time, it's just like I have to say the obvious. I do. Like, who does that? You know what I mean, champs? These people have met, like those two people met Mrs. Assassin and Baby Assassin, Little Assassin, right? They met him multiple times. So for Nick to go on some fucking low budget podcast and talk about us the way he did, like who does that? I like pause the music. Pause the. I just gotta say it. Like who?
Whoa. Okay, I missed something here. So I'm guessing you went on a podcast and spoke about it. Okay. Well, maybe we should take a look at that as well. Does anyone know what he's talking about? When did this happen?
Who does that? You fucking phony pussy. And then Lupo's screaming at the top of his lungs. He's got 400 viewers now. No one gives a, like he's always copied us, transitions, intros, all that stuff. He's always has. Like I just gotta go and I'm just gonna go and release some stuff off my mind just because I'm in the just because I got so many technical fucking issues and audio issues and everything's always there's always fucking technical issues happening on the stream, huh? Right?
4 months ago. Huh? So what would that be? October time? So that was pretty soon after Dr. Disrespect had made his response, right? So I'm guessing he went on a podcast and he's probably asked about Dr. Disrespect. I mean, if anyone's got it, link it and we'll take a quick look. I need to see what he said about him, because if it is like aggressive, then yeah, maybe I could see what he's. You know, it depends on what he said, and then I could say what I think.
Right, it gets me all fired up. So then it makes me want to really speak my mind. We get it, Doc. Calm down. All right. You sure? I was about to just go off. I was really about to go off on these fucking idiots. Disrespecting me. Disrespecting my Mrs. Assassin, Little Assassin. Come on, man. That's how you get knocked the fuck out. This guy thinks he's this Nickmercs dude? I don't even know what happened to him. I don't know if he's still...
Okay, bro. Wait a second.
Disrespecting me. Disrespecting my Mrs. Assassin, Little Assassin.
Disrespected you, bro. What? You cheated on your fucking wife, bro. He's very concerned about people disrespecting his wife when it's other people doing it, right? You cheated on your wife, and then apparently part of that cheating was having an inappropriate conversation with a minor. Bro, this guy is unreal, man. He's such a sleazy fuck, isn't he? Like, he's clear... Dude, it's so obvious that this guy is feeling confident because things have turned up his way now. He's been remonetized on YouTube, okay? And now he feels confident to come out and speak some shit. I'm going to look at the podcast clip after this and see what he said about him. But here's a question. Is this respecting your wife? I wonder.
Hey guys.
Yeah, let's go. PUBG time? Yeah.
Kind of have a little bit of an announcement. And I just want to be completely transparent with you guys. As you guys know, I have a beautiful family and a wife and kid. And
that's wonderful.
I want to be transparent that I've been unfaithful.
And your career. Welcome to the J's orbit.
There you go, the super chat.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
The way he cried in this clip too. Oof.
And I'm probably going to be taking some time away, time off, to focus on stupid fucking mistakes, man. I'm going to take time off to focus on my family, and so I just wanted to let you guys know that. And I apologize to you guys and Slick Daddy. I apologize to you guys, my sponsors and Twitch. And this is not who I am. It's not what I represent. And that's it.
Bro, The thing
Okay,
is,
that's wonderful.
is
But how do I make money
thank you for the super
off depressed
chats.
people?
The two-time wife cheater, the minor messaging world champ.
Obviously, that's something he's accounted for, and it's something that he has, you know, dealt with, so to speak. It just seems so crazy that he wants to moral frog super hard about Nickmercs cutting ties and calling that, like, disrespecting his wife. When he himself has cheated on his wife. Like, bro, who's disrespected your wife more? Nickmercs for doing that? Or you for cheating on your fucking wife?
Gets to disrespect my wife but me and my favorite young Thai ladyboy Twitch chatter.
Okay. There's a lot happened there. Thank you very much for the support, guys. Appreciate it. Well, I couldn't see the other one, but thank you. Appreciate that. Now, to be fair to Dr. Disrespect, as we like to be fair in all cases, okay, we will go back and we will have a look at what Nickmercs said, because maybe we're missing something, and maybe he did say something that was egregious about his partner. But let's finish this clip first.
Come on, man. That's how you get knocked the fuck out. This guy thinks he's this Nickmercs dude. I don't even know what happened to him. I don't know if he's still around. He thinks he's like tough guy putting his who can I knock out in a fight list together. Like first off, who does that shit, man? Second off, this guy wouldn't even fucking come close. No way. I just don't know who, like, the type of mentality to go on and talk about someone like that. Like, you...
Bro, you know, dude, I find all the IRL violence stuff very gay, okay? But, like, just to say, Nickmercs looks pretty, like, stacked. Like, he's pretty well, like, he obviously works out and shit, right? I think he'd probably fold Dr. Disrespect like yesterday's laundry. But in any case... we'll listen to his clip in a second, see. This all just seems, like, very unreasonable when, from my perspective, Nickmercs' comments, the ones I've seen at least so far, are completely fair, bearing in mind Dr. Disrespect's own admissions.
You just gotta be... You're lost. You don't do that. Especially when you don't know shit. No one does. I mean, there's a lot of people that I don't care about. I don't care about. The issue that I have with those two is that they met Mrs. Assassin multiple times. They met Baby Assassin, Little Assassin. They met my family, right? They know.
Okay, they met your family, and then you admitted to inappropriate messages with a minor. Like, what is this fucking... well, you met my family, so that time that I raped and murdered someone, you should just overlook... Obviously, he didn't do that. It's an absurd kind of absurdity thing. But it's to point out that just because someone has met your family doesn't mean that they ought to support you through everything that happens in your life, even stuff they personally take a moral or ethical issue with.
What I'm about. Look, there's a difference between having to, like, as a person in the industry, to speak up on it. And, like, for example, Tim and Z Laner, like... they're good people. They're good people. They responded in a way where it's like, you know, hey, from what we've heard, it's like, okay, right? Again, give me a call, shoot me a DM, whatever. Let's talk about it.
Wait.
Like, for example, Tim and Z Laner, like, they're good people. They're good people. They responded in a way where it's like, you know, hey. From what we've heard, it's like, okay, right? Again, give me a call, shoot me a DM, whatever. Let's talk about it. Explain it in a couple minutes. Boom, that's it. But they never did that. No, they never did. So for those that are asking, like, you should play with Z or Timmy, the only way is they'd have to apologize. Not publicly. I don't care about it. They just come up and say, hey, you know, made a mistake. Boom, let's get back into it. Then I'm good. Right? I'm good.
Okay. It just seems so absurd to me that it's like, well, no, they've got to come to you actually and apologize. Bro, you fucked them over with your fucking insane actions.
The doctor and the note.
It's like, that's on you. You did that. You put them in an impossible position with your actions. In terms of having done it originally, and then admitting to it, and then desperately trying to walk it back later. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do in that situation? And now that you want an apology for them, when it's your fucking mistakes and your fuck-ups that have caused this. You should be apologizing to them for putting them in a fucking impossible position in the first place. Dude, it's so clear. Confidence. He thinks he's on the up and up. And the way he's trying to do this, like, Dr. Lupo's got 400 viewers, and who even is Nickmercs anymore? Right? Like, clearly trying to do some sort of weird smear against them off the back of their, theorized viewership. Anyway, I didn't realize there was another clip. So, is this the one? Is this the clip? This is from 10th of September. So, has anything new actually happened? Or is this just getting mad about a podcast clip from the time when everything was happening? This is the clip. So he's just randomly brought this up again for no meaningful reason. Has Nickmercs spoken about it much recently at all? Or what?
Notes here that Sherm gave me. DrDisrespect.
Yeah, that's a tough one right now too, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a tough one.
And you obviously know him personally. Good dude.
I know him personally. I do. I mean, we met in person twice, briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And we've played a lot of games together throughout the years. There's this, people think that we're like best friends. That's not true. And then people also say, oh, they only gamed a couple times. I mean, that's not true either. We're somewhere in the center. Like when he texts me,
bro,
when he used to, he would text me in character.
Right.
Like the doc does what the doc wants. It's like, it's all right, man. How about that parlay for Sunday, though? You got anything cooking?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth.
Okay.
Okay, that's wonderful. How do I make money off depressed people?
Hi, Dr. Disrespect here. Don't disrespect my wife. Only I can disrespect her by messaging minors and cheating on her. Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Thank you for the super chats. I feel like every time I've heard Nickmercs speak about this, he's just been like a class act. He's been honest, as far as I can tell. Obviously, I don't know the behind the scenes, but he seems to be quite honest. He seems to be quite fair. He's saying it's tough. He's saying, look, we weren't best friends, but we weren't just like we spoke. We did speak a bit, and I've obviously met him in person. It seems like there's an attempt to try and be honest about the dynamic and not just like cop out by saying I barely knew him, nor accepting the framing that they were best friends. Like, everything is just completely reasonable. And this is what is so fucking gay about this. And Nickmercs is a big boy, okay? I'm sure he can fucking take it and deal with it. It just seems so wrong to me that Dr. Disrespect gets to talk this shit so unreasonably, and then his retarded fans go and fucking pester Nickmercs. And it's like, bro, Nickmercs has done literally nothing wrong in any of this. The only person that's done something wrong is Dr. Disrespect, who has put this guy in a fucking impossible situation and then applies further pressure by talking shit months later after everyone's moved on and after everything is kind of resolved.
And when all this stuff came out about him over the past few months or whatever, it's been real hard because the internet the gaming world hates a guy like Doc. They hate a guy like me. They hate a guy that represents family, being a dude's dude. You got to dance to the beat of their drum.
Right.
And we don't. We just don't. So when that stuff came out originally, everybody just immediately jumped on board with canceling this guy. Let's get this guy the fuck out of here, man. Stat. I mean, everybody did.
Because everybody who hates him, when you're ready to see somebody fall and they start to fall, you want to take any narrative possible to put this.
Dude.
Conservative brain rot. Nobody cares, bro. That's just incorrect. You're just wrong if you think nobody cares. People do care. Dude, Nickmercs has got a bunch of shit off fucking trans people and LGBT people because of his takes about these issues. It's just not true that nobody cares. People do care. And what he's saying is true. He does represent, a sort of like, lads gamer mentality or something. And obviously people don't like that, That's the issue.
Cracking the armor after it.
Pedophilia and underage stuff. I mean, that's a slam dunk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so the internet went crazy, but this was before we had not a single ounce of proof. All we had was an ex-Twitch employee that had said that this was going on. We didn't even have a comment from Doc, so people are, oh, Nick, how come you don't text him on the side? Motherfucker, I fucking did. but he couldn't tell me anything because he's bound in this big suit with Twitch, so he can't say anything. And he sent me a text saying, I can't really say much, man. I'm sorry. So that goes on. The internet's canceling this guy. And everybody, because the trans stuff just happened, everybody's like, oh, Nick, how about this guy? This is your boy, huh? I'm
yeah, why don't you have a strong stance here?
Exactly. I go on, I say, listen, man, I understand what people are saying. Let's wait till we get some facts. Let's wait till we hear what's actually going on.
Yeah, exactly what happened.
And then we'll make a decision.
Correct.
I was one of the only ones that fucking did that. Everybody else just jumped to conclusions. Not me.
And let's put a time out real quick. Sure. The way you handled it, maybe the most logical way to handle it, right? Someone accuse somebody of something.
You would think,
instead of just being like, right, judicial system, innocent before proven guilty.
But that's not the way the internet works.
And I could be talking out of my ass right now because I actually don't even know the full context of the situation with Dr. Disrespect. But any of these things, you look at and you're like, all right, like we talked about Deshaun Watson earlier. One thing comes out, you're like, let's get the facts. Right. Another one comes out, you're like, all right, let's get the facts. We start rolling down a little bit of hill. We're like, all right, now we understand.
Maybe there's
now the doctors. So I want to say, like, that is a great logical way.
Sorry, what is the problem with any of this? How is Dr. Disrespect still fucking seething about this months later, when Nickmercs is clearly trying his best to navigate a very difficult situation in a way that reasonably diminishes the impact to him, which is fine, by the way. It's fine. If your mate drops you in a shit situation publicly like this, it's reasonable that that's a consideration, right? And it seems like he was even willing to risk some negative aspects towards himself by being firm in saying, I'm not going to do anything until there's evidence or there's something to go off, or his statement, you know?
Honestly, my soy programming told me to give Nick no quarter, but this dude seemed to be in a vice with this situation for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. You know, listen, you know, I am ambivalent towards his political takes, right? I mean, obviously I would generally disagree with his pro-Trump stuff. I'm not a Trump guy. But it doesn't really matter. Like, it's irrelevant in this because this isn't about, like, the politics of Trump. This is about the basic dynamics of, like, human interactions and just how fucking reasonable he has been in this. And Dr. Disrespect is, once again, off the back of nothing, seemingly, stoking this up, twisting up his fans like a fucking toy and fucking sending them at Nickmercs again. And Nickmercs has done nothing wrong. He's done literally nothing fucking wrong in all of this. All he's done is say, hey, I need to wait for more evidence. Oh, he admitted to it. Well, that's really bad and I can't stand by that. That's all he's fucking done. It's literally the best possible way you could handle these situations.
Of handling a situation like that when you're being thrusted into essentially something that's not your business.
I mean, in any light, when somebody says that a person did something, you can't just throw them down the hill. You got to prove it, man. There's got to be something there. Anything, something. So I waited.
And two, you're not.
And I got a bunch of shit for waiting. Everyone's like, fuck you, man. Speak out on your boy. True. What the fuck, man? I mean, I got railed on social. But I was the only one that didn't. So I waited. Then he comes out with a statement. Do you guys know about that tweet?
Yeah.
So this guy comes out.
Pull that tweet up?
Pull a tweet. So he comes out with this tweet, which is now deleted, by the way. It's this tweet of like a bunch of different paragraphs. And it was the worst tweet that I have ever seen from somebody in trouble. Not only was the original the worst, get this. This motherfucker edits that same tweet like 6 times. He edits.
Okay. For the purposes of accuracy, to be fair, okay, he's being a hyperbolic there. It was like, I think it was twice. He put a tweet out with Minor in, he edited Minor out, and then he edited Minor back in. So he edited it twice. Okay. So I'm trying to find points at which Dr. Disrespect could reasonably take issue. Okay. And I guess you could argue, well, that isn't strictly true. He edited it twice. So maybe you could take issue with that, I guess. I don't think it's fairly trivial to me. But that is a point which you could say that Dr. Disrespect could say, well, that's wrong and excessive.
Key words out of the tweet, but you can go back and see the original tweet on the fucking thread. So there's no point of editing it out if you can just see it.
Right.
So he's just making this horrible.
Yes.
So this comes out.
Yep.
Me, Tim, Denny, we all get together. That's like, fuck, man. I can't believe it. And he admits in this tweet
minor edits
to talking to somebody inappropriately who was underage. Now, let's just make sure the whole bus, let's get timeout in the bus.
Timeout.
Hard timeout. A bunch of dudes in here.
Respect the timeout.
Everybody agrees that if that's a case, it's done. It's done. No matter how it, I mean, if you're speaking inappropriately with an underage person, it's done. For me. That's me. Done. I don't care what the fuck it is. You guys agree? Everybody agree?
Agreed.
Yes.
Anybody don't agree?
Agreed.
All right. So, like anybody else would in this bus, I go on there. Everybody's pressing. The whole world's pressing me, right? Because Nick can speak out on trans stuff, but when his own boys with the underage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is exactly what happened, dude.
I say, look, facts came out. Basically, this sucks fucking ass. We didn't know about this, obviously. And we're gonna cut ties, and we don't condone or agree with anything like this. They're not happy with that either.
Why are they not happy with it?
Because so you can go hard on to leave the kids alone shit, but when it's your
okay, I actually fell foul of this. I fell foul of this. I've got to take an L for that. Because, when you think about it, okay, it is actually totally reasonable that someone is going to take a heart attack against a broad group of people that he doesn't fucking know, saying that they're doing stuff I don't like about with kids versus your friend. Okay? Yes. I'm pretty sure I've said this already. I'm pretty sure I've already said this, but I'll just make it clear again. But yeah, it's reasonable. It's reasonable that you're going to have a different tact dealing with that, And the thing to bear in mind is the people that are criticizing him for this are not good faith interlocutors, right? It's a bunch of angry, unironically blue-haired freaks that are just spurging out at him about it, right? Because they don't actually care about the level at which he's criticizing Dr. Disrespect. The problem is that he's criticizing trans stuff, full stop, at all, right? Because from their perspective, either they're not doing anything wrong or the stuff they're doing is not actually bad with kids or something like that, right? Without getting too much into it. But the thing is he's entitled to his perspective that he's got an issue with the way that some of this LGBT stuff stacks up in regards to kids. And he doesn't want this stuff being introduced to kids, at school, which is a totally reasonable and fine perspective. So it's just a complete gotcha to try and be like, you're not completely eviscerating Dr. Disrespect. There's a personal connection there. That is obviously, causing him issues. Much in the same way that if one of his friends transitioned, he'd probably feel the same way and be like, what the fuck, dude, this is crazy. And he'd probably struggle to kind of rationalize that, So it's this kind of lack of allowance. It's this lack of allowance of the fact that you're going to treat people that you know differently. And if he was sweeping, if he was saying Doc didn't do anything wrong or whatever, then fine. That's more something to be critical of. But the fact that he didn't cut him off harshly enough. I mean, bro, he cut him off perfectly fine. He said, I can't do that. I can't be alongside that. I can't support that. What more could you possibly want? I guess they wanted him to have a fucking, spurg out rage or something. And it's he doesn't need to do that to cut ties. It's totally reasonable that he just goes, I can't stand by this guy anymore. And that's that.
Boy, it's just oh, you're not happy about it. What the fuck do you want, man? I said, I don't condone it. It's disgusting. And
cut all ties.
And we're cutting ties. Done. So weeks go by. This guy deletes that tweet and then says that it was all a joke. And he put out that tweet as bait to see who his real friends are.
Oof.
Yeah. So
we got
his community reactivates.
Yes.
Oh, Nick, you turned on your boy. Yada, yada, yada. And that's his whole fucking thing.
Dude, we know. This is exactly it. It's the reactivation of Dr. Disrespect's fan base. And it's happened again now, which obviously we've just watched Dr. Disrespect do this again. And it comes across as malicious or something. Like Dr. Disrespect wants Nickmercs to get shit from his fan base again. So he brings it up again, apropos of nothing, for no reason. To my knowledge, Nickmercs hasn't spoken about this meaningfully for months. And he just wants his fans to go and fucking badger Nickmercs again. What has he said here that justifies Dr. Disrespect's rage months later? He's been more than fair and reasonable in every single thing he's fucking said.
that's not true. I mean, he sent a text to me, Timmy, and Clock as well, saying like, "Hey boys, I'm sorry that I'm sorry that you guys are in this. You know, I wish it wasn't this way. I apologize, you know, for that." And I mean, he never, we don't really text like that, like crazy. So, but putting that aside, man, like it's enough for me, you know, to cut ties. And the situation sucks.
Dad in the back.
Fuck that motherfucker.
Well, he feels some type of way.
Wait, what? Apology text?
When like we know that's not true. I mean, he sent a text to me, Timmy, and Clock as well, saying like, "Hey boys, I'm sorry that I'm sorry that you guys are in this. You know, I wish it wasn't this way. I apologize, you know, for that." And I mean,
Yeah, rightly so. God, dude. Like, Dr. Disrespect is such like a wretched, despicable individual to like still be using this against him to this day. It's just fucking wrong. It's so wrong. And like I say, Nickmercs has got the kind of personality, I think, and he's got the whatever that he can handle this. I'm sure he'll be fine, obviously. It's just so fucked. And it's like this desperate attempt to spin the narrative in your favor, no matter what impact it has, when you are the person that has put him in a difficult position in the first place with your actions.
he never.
I've been saying this. There's another streamer. Listen, we're not getting into it, okay? We've already mentioned him too much this stream. But there's another streamer that I think you could draw some comparisons with about the way that they stoke their fan base up with certain narrative control and narrative spinning to, as a consequence of that, they go barreling at another creator like a fucking autistic cruise missile.
We don't really text like that, like crazy. So, but putting that aside, man, like it's enough for me, you know, to cut ties. And the situation sucks.
Dad in the back.
Fuck that motherfucker.
Well, he feels some type of way because we met him, his wife, and his daughter at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
And I got all of his fans on my dick. Like, yo, what a fucking great friend you are. Yeah, bro. You meet his wife and his daughter at the Super Bowl, and then find out this 44-year-old dude is sleazing around with some 17-year-old. You know, and we already know he cheated on his wife. He went on the stream and admitted that. And it was around the same timeline as all this stuff is coming out. It's like, dude, you know, like, get fucking real, man. You can't win.
Is that the comment? Dude, that's just correct. I guess the truth hurts, but Nickmercs is right. Yes, it would feel shitty to have met someone and then it turns out they're doing this stuff on the side. Literally, yeah, I get that's upsetting because they're talking about your personal stuff, but he's right. He's correct to say that. What did he say? Dude, that's not disrespecting his wife at all. That's a comment that actually is demonstrating a respect because you're saying how fucked it is that he did this stuff. And he's pointing out the timeline matches up as well, which is true, by the way, it does.
With these people. That's what I'm realizing. Like, the internet is the internet. It's going to internet, you know? You do what you do. You keep your fucking nose forward. Stay out of trouble.
Oh, I see. I got you. You disrespected your wife. Got it. I misread it. My apologies. Okay. True. Very true.
Keep it popping. Be real.
Yeah.
Be fucking real, man. Too many motherfuckers are fake. Not only in this world, but especially in the gaming scene, man. A lot of two-faced people. They pretend to care about things they really don't care about. Mm-hmm. You know, this shit's fucking crazy. Stock stuff. I mean, that's so fake. I mean, look, the guy gets on stream every day in a fucking costume. So I guess it makes sense, you know, but what the fuck?
Oh, bro. Oof. Dude, that must have stung. But he's right. Name one point he's made that's wrong. The only thing that he said which is wrong is a trivial detail about how many times the tweet was edited. That's it. Everything else has been factually correct or a fair personal view of the situation. He said nothing unreasonable.
Playing a character.
Well, I'm bitching about him being fake. He's fucking. Look at him.
Hell of a mustache.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, I'll throw his community a bone, you know, and I will say, and it shouldn't go without. I mean, it shouldn't go without saying, man. I mean, what he did for the streaming world and gaming community as well. I mean, that's one of the biggest entertainers online in the history of the industry forever. I mean, for fucking ever. His production, the work he puts in is next level, but you just can't do things like that. And to say that your friends are expected to stand by you as you make those kinds of mistakes, and when these are the same friends that got kids of their own, man, I mean, it's not like me and Doc are like you two. We don't live in the same town again, the same fucking bus. No, man, this guy's in California. I'm in Florida. We play games together, but he's in a fucking costume and speaks with an accent. I mean, we're not really best buddies here, right?
Right.
People were mad about that too. That was playing down the relationship, but that's the reality of the situation.
Well, I think too, it's like, you know, up until that point, it's like somebody in the streaming community, you see him as.
So he's even being gracious enough to admit his contributions to the streaming world, dude. Bro, Dr. Disrespect is such a freak, man. Nickmercs has done nothing wrong. He's even being gracious towards him as he makes these comments. And that's still not enough, apparently. And Dr. Disrespect has still got to bring it up months later, thus reigniting this drama over nothing. Nothing's happened recently from this.
It's like one of your boys, not like best friends or nothing like that, but when something like that comes out and all the facts are now, you ultimately want to believe the best in who you're kind of seeing at first, and then when it's not, you're kind of like, that fucking sucks. I feel kind of dumb that I got looped into that and believe in this and that. So it just all around it's a shitty situation.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard. You're not going to win.
That's the truest part, is that this situation is just shit, because he's claiming that Twitch was after him, and there really might be some truth to that. Like, they didn't like him, and there were some contractual things that lined up that make sense but at the end of the day, he admitted to doing what people were saying that he did.
Right.
And then edited the tweet 7 times and then deleted the tweet. Bro, we're done. Say we're done.
Yeah.
You know,
we're done. Say we're done.
We're done, man. That's it.
Yeah. Totally reasonable. And how did this fucking freak paint this? He painted it as if he was disrespecting his wife. And on top of that as well, he was talking about wanting to knock him out. For what? What a dude. Did he say wife in this? Is that? No, he didn't say that. He said assassin or something, didn't he? This is it here,
that's
isn't
wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
You know what I mean, Tip? These people have met, like those two people met Mrs. Assassin and Baby Assassin, Little Assassin, right? They met him multiple times. So for Nick to go on some fucking low-budget podcast and talk about us the way he did, like, who does that?
Talk about you the way that you did. All he said was that you disrespected your wife in your behavior and actions, which is true. And then he made some comments about you wearing a costume on stream whilst acting like you're being real, which is a fair comment. Like we did, bro.
Like, pause the music. I just gotta say it. Like, who does that? You fucking phony pussy. And then Lupo's screaming at the top of his...
Dude. He didn't say anything even that crazy. Okay. Anyway, so the final piece of the puzzle here is obviously Nickmercs responding to this. So let's see what Nickmercs had to say in response to this.
I heard the news. I did. I heard the fucking news, man. I really did. I couldn't believe it. I woke up like you guys, man. I drink my coffee, and I seen what you seen, bro. I seen the news. My first thought that hit my head was this motherfucker didn't take his pills. Like, instantly. I was like, yo, is this guy off the fucking the wagon? I don't think he took his fucking meds. That was my first thought. Swear to God. I swear to the Almighty. Then I see, what do they call?
Wait, okay, and this is a retarded comment, dude. Now, he was riding Doc's dick 2 months before, but had thoughts about costumed Pedros. Well, the point that's being made here is not, he's not just saying, oh yeah, and his costume's gay as well. His costume sucks, right? He's saying that Dr. Disrespect is talking about being real and honest whilst wearing a costume. He wore a costume in his response.
I love my wife and kid. I would never cheat on them. That's a minor messaging me weirdly. Oh, okay, I won't message them back.
Thank you for the super chats. He's not just saying, you know, I get that idea. And obviously you're fucking retarded because you're accepting that framing from Dr. Disrespect, right? That he's some sort of snake. If he just, apropos of nothing, said, oh yeah, and his costume sucks too, okay? I could see that. I could see him doing the thing where you change your perspective on something because you've fallen out. But it's specifically about Dr. Disrespect claiming to be like real and true when his whole thing is an act, which is a totally fair and reasonable comment. Particularly when you take into account the fact that he responded to his allegations in character, in his fucking outfit, bro. Dude, I cannot see any reasonable criticism of Nickmercs in all of this. I just don't think he's done anything wrong at any point. The literal only thing I can point to is hyperbolically describing the amount of times he edited his tweet. That's it. That's the only thing that he's substantively got wrong in all of this.
Call him the Slick Daddy Club on
And that's nothing.
On X. And I see him on X, man, and they're just on the Johnson. I mean, they are doing tricks. They're jumping, they're dancing, they're clapping. They're just like, Nikki, you know. So I'm seeing a little bit of that. Then I have my next thought, you know. And I'm like, I mean, I haven't spoken about this in months.
Yes.
Maybe like a half a year. Chad,
yes,
when was the last time that we spoke?
He hasn't spoken about this for ages. It's just such an insane, out of nowhere attack. When this is all settled and dealt with and no one is fucking talk. I don't think anyone has really spoken about this meaningfully for a period of months, let alone Nickmercs. We never got to see the actual message issue, did we? I never saw them released. No. So I think that, you know, as much as people thought Twitch ought to release it, I can understand that Twitch don't want to, you know, I mean, it was an unprecedented situation. There is an argument to just release them. But businesses maybe don't want to release information that is a product of some sort of internal investigation or something. They're worried about the victim. I can understand the arguments either way, right? However, there's literally nothing that I can think of that would stop Dr. Disrespect from releasing those messages. He undoubtedly would have access to them because they were part of a legal case, so they'd be stored, filed, emailed. There'd be somewhere that he'd be able to access them. Okay? So the question is, if they are exonerating, why is he not releasing them? And then when he got questioned about this on stream, he didn't really have a good answer. He was just like, you know, hey, what are we doing here, guys? Like acting like it was an absurd concept that if messages would exonerate you, you would release them further, you know? So in any case, you know, I think that going back to my point about how he admitted to it, I think it was him getting ahead of it. I think he didn't know what was going to come out, so he wanted to say something to get ahead of it. Nothing did, and then he was able to spin whatever narrative he wanted. And then when questioned, well, why don't you release them? It was, oh, we don't need to do that. What's the point? What are you, like, low IQ or something? I can't remember exactly what he said. It was something along those lines.
About this. This is history. August, maybe. Fucking September. It's about to be March. It's been like 6 months, 7 months. Now, people are seeing the podcast clip, and I think that what a lot of people are getting is that this just came out. But this motherfucking podcast came out 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And it was after this guy left.
Yeah.
This guy put out a tweet saying he did what they're saying he did in his own words. And then he left. Bye-bye. I'm going to the mountains or some shit, this guy said. That was my third thought. Do people know when this podcast clip came out? Do they remember? Then my fourth thought. I had a lot of thoughts about this. Then my fourth thought was I kind of felt bad. That was number 4. It took me 3 whole thoughts to get to the fourth one where I had a little goodness from my little heart come out. I said, aw, I feel bad. I do. And I don't feel bad for him. I just feel bad for the communities, if you will, the people. Because I get it, man. I get it. Verdansk, me, Timmy, Clocky, Doc, gaming together, playing, you know what I mean, having fun. I get it, man. I get it. And I know that like that, those are some good times. I understand that. And I know the realization is setting in, like, you know, that ain't
happening.
Nick listing your thoughts if only has 10 per day. Bro, I think Nickmercs is actually a bit smarter than people give him credit for. And, you know, it's like, he's got like a reputation of being just a total fucking meathead. And I get the kind of aesthetics or the look of that. I can understand why people think like that. But I actually think he's a bit more switched on and able to assess this stuff than people are willing to give him credit for, you know? Well, I mean, you know, like, I think that because you guys always fucking consume drama, you think that being able to, like, talk about and discuss drama accurately is, like, a straightforward thing, right? But throughout his statements, there's been consistency and there's been an ability to plainly and simply lay out the dynamics of this in like, a correct fashion, right? Like, I think that speaks to some level of intelligence beyond what people are willing to give him credit for. Like, he's not some fucking dumb meathead. He's just like a knuckle dragger, steroid addict or something, right? Well, no. What I'm saying is, you guys have got a perception that talking about or laying out drama in a certain way is like, like it speaks to something about him that he's able to look at and assess this accurately and fairly. Do you see what I mean? I don't think he's. No, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I don't think he's this knuckle dragging meathead that people want to paint him as. I think he's got a bit more about him than that. Dude, this guy literally cannot win, right? I mean, I'm not saying he's fucking. You know, I'm not saying he's Einstein. Okay, I'm not saying he's gonna fucking, you know, come up with a new theory of relativity. I'm just saying that he's got more about him than people give him credit for, right? That's it. And that apparently is too much for some people to grasp.
Little Assassin isn't my kid, but actually my favorite Twitch chatter.
Thank you for the tip.
And like that anymore or in the future. So I feel bad about all that, man. I really do. It's, you know, it is what it is. But guys, you have to look at your own lives and think, how many people have you known? How many things have happened that have changed the direction for yourself and these people? It's life. It's fucking life, you guys. You go through life and you move forward. Things happen. And these things will pop up. They happen. You just got to roll through it. And that's what I've been doing. I gave everybody my thoughts. People seem to forget, you know, when the whole internet was after this guy, when we hadn't heard from him, I was the only one that was like, whoa. Let's wait to just hear everything. Let's see what's going on, right? Like, we can't just have somebody say that this person did this, and then we don't even hear anything. We don't even see anything. So I got fucking hung up on the cross. I did. They crucified me. Now, granted, at that point in my career,
look, master level rambling. This is life, guys. I feel like people that see this guy, they see the image of him and they frame whatever he's saying around the image that they've got, right? He is being like extremely coherent here in what he's saying in a very specific, clear fashion. And people are acting like he's just some retard bumbling through it and fucking just saying truisms about the world. Like, no, he's very specifically and clearly laying out his thought process here, how he looked at this, how he assessed this. Like, God, you guys are just like, you're literally biased against this guy. I never said he was a fucking genius. I never said he was a genius, okay? Clearly, he's not. God, dude, I never said he was a fucking genius. I'm just saying that he doesn't get, you know, people write him off as some fucking meathead that's got no thoughts in his brain. It's a knuckle dragger, and I just don't think that's true.
I was damned if I do. I was damned if I don't, you know? But I got spit on for telling everybody I was the only one. Pokimane doing her shit, Hasanabi, fucking everybody. You know, I'm the only motherfucker that was like, wait, hold on. The only one. This guy comes out with a tweet that he edits like 19 times. Okay. That says that.
Okay, the number's gone up again. Now it's 19. Oh, okay, so he seems to be getting that wrong, but it seems to be hyperbole rather than a genuine expression of like what he thinks the amount of times it was edited.
Appropriate text to a minor. I mean, what? I just can't there's a lot of people out there that must truly lack the perspective You know, look, I never really, I'm not going door to door calling this guy this or calling this guy that. I didn't say any words, any buzzwords. I did call him a tard. Look, all I was ever indicating when cutting this shit was that clearly I don't want to be associated with a guy that can do these types of things consistently. I said, I'm out. I'm out, man. Well, you know, whatever. We already know the dude cheated on his wife. Then he's talking about, this guy met my wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Shelby is right. It's like the edits are irrelevant because he admitted to doing the thing which, you know, many were accusing him of doing, right? Now, obviously, some people did take it to an extreme perspective and they called him all sorts of names, right? But Nickmercs, as far as I know, didn't do that. He just stuck to the facts of what had happened and he spoke about that and focused on that, right? He admitted to doing this. It's a red line for me. I can't associate with him anymore, and that was that. And I think he spoke about it a couple of times on stream as it was relevant. I think he spoke about it on stream when it happened and elaborated further on that short video that he made about it. Then obviously went on this podcast and spoke about it for 10 minutes because it was brought up, which is reasonable. Not sure where else he spoke about it. And the only other time that I know that he spoke about this at length was when DrDisrespect released his statement when he said that, oh, I edited it a bunch of times to trick them or something, right? So he responded after DrDisrespect elaborated further, and that then resulted in him getting shit from his community.
I mean, motherfucker, you cheated on her. I met her? That's the highlight here? Yeah, I shook her hand at the Super Bowl halftime for 7 minutes.
True.
Yeah, I fucking met her. She was a nice lady. I feel bad for her, man. You know? I hope they figure it out.
Okay,
I seriously, I hope they figure it out. I hope it's great for them, man.
No such thing as giving grace anymore. Just hate everyone no matter how they respond.
Thank you for the super chat. I mean, this is the problem that Nickmercs has got, right? He's got people that just like hate him because he's like anti-trans, pro-Trump or something like that. And then you've got this kind of latent hate from people who have got these perceptions of him and judge him according to those perceptions rather than what he actually says, which has happened in this very chat today. You know, acting like he's some fucking knuckle dragger. And it's just, he's not. Like, you know, like this guy just can't win, basically. You know, I'm not like a massive, like, I don't watch Nickmercs' content, right? It's not my thing. But I just think it just seems unreasonable that this guy gets shit from every single possible angle, particularly in this situation, when he's done literally nothing wrong. There is not a single thing I can point to of substance that he has done wrong. Like, he's handled this. It is literally class act, the way that he's handled this.
I really do. I know it must be hard, this whole thing for them. I hope they figure it out. But I didn't go up there talking about his wife and his kid. I just made a little point that I think was important. How you doing this with a wife and kid? That's all I said.
Saying he overestimates his own intellect is not the same thing as saying he's a moron. He could have said what he's saying in a fifth of the time. He's just yapping. Okay, dude. How does he overestimate his own intellect exactly? When has he ever done that? I don't watch his content, but I doubt he's there acting like he's fucking the next Einstein. I'm pretty sure he's probably aware of, like, where he is on the grand scheme of things. Like, dude, this is what I mean, bro. People have got this latent hate of this guy for literally no reason. Like, they get mad at him for things which I don't think he even fucking does. Like, what? Where has he ever done that? Yes, he's talking. Bro, also, this clip is like 9 minutes long. Right? He's a streamer. Right? Another big streamer has unreasonably and unfairly called him out. I think he's allowed to talk about it for 9 minutes. I don't think he has to make a quick statement if he doesn't want to. 9 minutes, if anything, is underdoing it.
I think it's a pretty fair question. Because everybody thinks this guy is up on some fucking hilltop like we all pray to him or something. What are we doing? That was my sixth thought. Number 7. This is number 7. And this is one that's been on my mind for a long time. But, like, he's calling everybody fake. In this clip that I seen. Fake and phony, fake and phony, fake and fucking phony, fake Nickmercs, fake and phony. That's what he keeps saying. Fake and phony. Right? Am I slow? Or does this guy not get in front of a camera every day of his life in a fucking costume? Are we fucking serious right now? No, I'm dead ass with you right now. You gonna see me outside, you gonna see this. I'm gonna wear the same fucking kit right here, bro. This motherfucker wears a goddamn wig. Are you fucking kidding me? I just don't get it. We're all fake and phony because we cut ties with you after you did some fucking crazy shit. Put all your boys in a tough spot.
Yes.
You want to get real about it? Get fucking real about it. You put everybody around you in a tough ass spot because you're a dog.
Yes.
Because you're a dog, bro. And I've known plenty of dogs, man. But when you go below that 18-year-old bullshit, you a different kind of dog now. Now you're a weirdo. And you can't fucking, you have no self-awareness. You can't reflect. You can't hold yourself accountable. You can't be a man. Being a man is about holding yourself accountable with things you do.
Bro,
it's a really important part about growing up.
He's so correct about this.
You're a father. You're a husband. Look, you fucked up. You got to own it. You don't get to go around and blame everybody else for the shit that you did. That's not what you do. That's not what you do. And we have not.
Don't forget as well, in Dr. Disrespect's statement, he made a big noise about wanting to take accountability for this. And then when he realized there wasn't the DMs on the table and he could wriggle out of it, he then tried to wriggle like a little worm. But go back and look at the original statement. He says it here. You know? I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about. And I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. What happened to that? What happened to that accepting responsibility shit? He's got him banged to rights here. And again, it's not about just the fact he wears a costume. Right? It's the fact that he does it whilst calling others fake and phony. When his whole stream persona is fake and phony. You know? This is very respectable from Nick because he kind of gives off the fall in line meathead vibe, but proved is infinitely more principled than the leftists he fights with on Twitter with this statement. Yep, absolutely. He could have easily folded. He could have easily folded and you know, or whatever, but clearly he's got a consistent view on this and he's been consistent throughout this entire process. You know, I don't know, dude. I don't really know what you can say wrong about this guy in this situation.
Talked about this on stream in 7, 8 months. And every week I'm getting like clips. Yo, Nick, this guy's talking about you again. He's talking about Tim again. Talking Lupo. Talking about Z-Laner. You know, right? Every fucking week this guy's got something to say. And look, okay, and then my ninth thought, and this was like towards the end of my thought process, was like, yo, I know he feels the type of way. He feels angry. Because the reality is that, you know, all of us, we don't really know every little detail of what the fuck happened. We don't know the whispers. We don't know how it all went down. We just know what he told us, okay? And we know what they're saying. And what we did was we just connected the dots, right? Okay, I think that's a pretty fair assessment of how things went.
Yes.
But we don't know everything, all right? So with that being said, like, he's the only one that does. My last thought was that I get that he feels bad about it all, okay? And I hope that he works it out. I hope he gets to a point where he feels better about things.
Class act, again.
I don't go to bed every night like, yo, I hope Doc steps on a Lego. Or like, yo, I hope this motherfucker rots in it. I don't do that. I'm going to bed off a gummy watching Harry Potter. I spent fucking 8 hours at the beach. Like, I'm not thinking about him.
Dude, I tell you what it is, right? This is part of the war on normal guys, okay? That's why everyone's so upset with this dude. He's literally just a regular guy. He's just a regular dude. People just get furious about it. Bro, it's the thing. It's that image. You know the mad at the regular guy thing? Oh, fuck. You know the thing? Where is it? Dude, it's this, dude. Bro. All of you that are hating, you're literally just this right now. You are this meme. It is literally this, dude. Literally, you're doing this right now. Like, this idea that he's some sort of, he overthinks his intellect, or he's a total fucking retard with no thoughts and he's just a knuckle dragger. Like, none of this is true. You don't have to like this guy, right? I mean, I'm not saying you have to like his politics or like his streams or like his content. It just seems so fucked that he gets it from every single angle, particularly on this issue, when he's done literally nothing wrong. Everything he's done has been consistent, coherent,
okay, that's wonderful.
and fair.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
ChudLogic Master Logic.
Thank you for the super chats. So I guess the only thing left to say is Nick is fair. And that's it for this. And that's it. I mean, he's obviously a right winger. He supports Trump. But I personally don't care about stuff like that. When you're assessing someone's behavior in a given situation, their political ties are largely irrelevant. Because, you know, this is all about how is he treating the Dr. Disrespect situation, and he's been fair, consistent, and coherent throughout, you know? And even gracious at points. He's even gracious
okay, that's
to
wonderful.
Dr. Disrespect,
but
but he doesn't need to be.
Money off depressed people. Warzone stream with him and Aiden.
Thank you for the super chats. Dude. I mean, I'm a small fry in the grand pond of content creation. But, dude, I feel fucking, you know, I'd feel weird playing with some of these guys because they're so, like, they're very good at Warzone and I kind of suck. So, my addiction, I was playing. I mean, I've been playing. Got a second place ranked last night. That was good with Pans. But yeah. Dude, it's so tough because cheating is so prolific, but you don't want to blame it on cheating. But Pans reckoned the guy that killed him at the end was cheating. Basically, it was like Pans was 1v1 in someone, I was 1v1 in someone, and I won my 1v1 because I'm based and amazing. And Pans tragically didn't, you know? No, Pans is actually the best player out of everyone I play with, so I don't want to talk too much shit because he is actually a very good Warzone player. Definitely better than me, but it's just funny. And he was like, they were cheating, and I was like, okay. Okay, I guess they were cheating. Also, I play on fucking American lobbies, so I got like ping. I got, what is it? It's like 100 to 150 milliseconds of ping. And it does make a difference, particularly, and obviously often I don't see myself as a particularly good player. So I'm often playing against people that are not only better than me, but they've also got a ping advantage too. You know? But yeah.